Today I'm going to be making salads for 2 green sheet conures and 2 white belly caiques. So the salads are real similar. I don't make that much differentiation between the two. The caiques, I will give them a little bit bigger bite sizes, and I chop the conures food pretty small. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first up we have the beet greens that we picked earlier. I've rinsed them off, and I'm going to go ahead and just use my hand to tear them into little pieces like that. Maybe slightly bigger pieces for the caiques. Put this over here so you can see it a little better. Go ahead and work on this. I like to give them a nice bed of greens, and then I layer all the veggies on top of that. Okay, and here is some kale. Again, I've rinsed it off, and I just like to break that into small pieces as well. You can put this in a food processor and chop it up lightly. I don't do that. I think it spoils a little faster that way. So for what I'm doing with these guys, I like to keep it chopped in bigger pieces. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and give them a little bit more kale than that. Here, I think I'm gonna put that over on that side. And I do go ahead and break up the stem part of the kale too. That's a nice chewy treat for them. All right, so now that I've got a base of the greens, I'm going to move on to, let's go ahead and do the broccoli. Now with the broccoli, what I'm gonna do is, you see it's kind of got a brown end. I'm gonna go ahead and cut anything that is brown or discolored off of that. This should be just about, it's got a little bit on there. I do try to use the freshest ingredients possible, so that if this sits out, for a while, it's not going to spoil. You're not going to have anything that's already going bad put in here. And so, kind of like with the greens, I just use my fingers and break it up into little bite-sized pieces there. And let's see, let's go ahead and move on to, we can go ahead and put some pepper in there. This is my garden-grown peppers, so nice and big pepper. It's an Anaheim. And I'm going to cut 2 rings like that. That one's a little bit smaller. I'll give that to the conures. I'm just going to go ahead and chop like so. Go. And let's go ahead and give them some red pepper just for a little bit of color, a little bit different flavor. You could just do one or the other. I'm not going to give them a lot, just a little bit here. There. So caique size, like that. Green sheet conure size, just slightly smaller. And I have some green beans. These are garden fresh. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start with one, see where we get. So I'm gonna do that for the caiques. This will be green sheet conure. A little bit smaller. And we'll toss that in there. And, whoops, a little bit bigger for the caiques. Yeah, let's do another. That's a little skimpy. Let's go ahead and get some more here. Okay, and then here we have the Hawthorne berries that we got off the bush earlier. And the way I like to feed these, I don't cut them up because they've got all those seeds in them, is I just squish them little bit like that, so that kind of popping out. And I'll put the slightly squished berry in their food. So I gave the caiques, the bigger ones, and then the 2 smaller berries I'll give to the green cheek conures. And let's go ahead and do some peas. These are also from the garden. And I'll feed them both the peas and the pods. But I think since this actually has peas in it, I'm gonna pull out the peas. There's quite a few in here. Okay. And I'll show you how I do the peas. I find that round food like this, the birds have a really hard time grabbing a hold of it, and so they drop it. So what I do with something round like a pea is I go ahead and cut it in half, which these are kind of small peas. It's a little harder to do, but and you can see 2 halves. This is a half of a Brussels sprout. And just like the broccoli, I'm gonna cut this bad end off. I don't really want that in their food. And for this, I'm actually gonna cut it in half again, and this is what I'm gonna feed them. So that's plenty. And you wouldn't even have to give them that much, but. And then I just cut it like that. I'll give the bigger pieces to the caiques. Smaller. Bust them up a little bit. Okay. Put that back, and let's see, we've got carrot. This is a baby carrot. Just pulled it out. It's kind of small. I'm not gonna peel this. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave the peel on. But I'll cut it up into relatively small pieces here. Again, giving the bigger pieces to the caiques, smaller pieces to the green cheeks. And here we have that heritage apple. Now with any kind of fruit, berries, I kind of make an exception with this, but any kind of fruit, I don't give them a lot of fruit. So you notice I've been giving them a lot of the vegetables. I'm not going to give them a lot of apple. Higher in sugar, and any nutrition they can get from this, they can get even more from the veggies. So I would rather them eat the veggies than just sit and eat apple. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. And just like before, I'm gonna do bigger pieces for the caiques. And this is 2 caiques. Both of these portions are for 2 birds. So this is 2 caiques and 2 green cheek conures. And so that's the apple for the caiques. The green cheeks, I'm just gonna do this, and I'm gonna cut it up small so they can really savor this. And some of these pieces are a little bigger than I like. Okay. And we'll go ahead and put those on top. All right, I think that is everything I have for them today. Got the pea pods, we've got a couple of Hawthorne berries in there, red pepper, green pepper, there's a green pepper, broccoli, kale, and beet greens. Okay, well I hope this helps with your birdie menu and being able to get your birds to eat fresh food, which is really good for them and really important, not only for their physical health, but also their emotional well-being as well. Okay, well we will see you next time. Bye.